Hi everyone, I'm Mike Prue from Hill Holiday and co-author of the book Social TV. I am here at GigaOM's headquarters with Janko Roettgers, who is the staff writer for GigaOM's NewTeeVee. And we've been chatting about content for the book and have a few more questions that we're going to share. So thanks for chatting with me.
Sure, you're very welcome.
So look, a lot of the content that you write about and blog about and also feature on NewTeeVee and on Cord Cutters is on cord cutting itself. There are a lot of discrepancies in terms of data that's out there as to how pervasive this is. Can you talk a little bit about what your view of the current state of cord cutting is?
I think it is certainly happening to a degree. I think it's still a small phenomenon. It's almost every day people say, well, it's 4%, now it's only 1%, and then I think it doesn't matter as much to get behind like the exact percentage rate here. It's more about, to me, more interesting is why people are doing it, and then even more than that, what people are doing when they're doing that. Because to me, it opens up a window about how people are going to use television in the future. And that's really interesting to me here to see, people get new devices, people take charge of their television consumption, people explore different ways to acquire content, people switch up their schedule a little bit, and that's the interesting thing here. Personally, I think cord cutting is happening. I think TV networks need to be aware of it, broadcasters need to be aware of it. The exact percentage, anyone can really just guess right now. And then, of course, there's this whole controversy: are people doing it for the money, or are people doing it because they like Netflix so much? I think the question is a little bit irrelevant because, of course, in the end, to many people in this situation, money matters more than Netflix or Hulu. But that doesn't mean that they don't look for alternatives and they don't explore different ways of watching television.
Speaking of alternatives, let's talk a little bit about the connected TV space that is certainly becoming pretty crowded with different players, new players. Do you see connected TVs as a replacement for traditional television or as a complement to it? And who do you see, or is it too early to call, some of the emerging leaders in the space?
I think it is maybe an evolution. Right now, people are replacing, to a degree, pay TV subscriptions, so they're replacing their cable box maybe with a Roku. That seems to be a trend, and if you talk to people from Roku, they say, 30% or 40% of their subscribers are looking at canceling cable, and again, those numbers you can always take with a grain of salt. So there is some replacing going on. I think it's just more an evolution of finding new ways and taking it further than the cable box gets you. And as to your second part of the question, who is going to dominate this space? Right now, it's clear we have game consoles. If you look at data from Sandvine or something, there's like the most Netflix traffic comes from the PS3, and then there's the Xbox, and then there's the Wii, and somewhere in there is also the PC. So Apple TV, Roku, Boxy, all these things is really a lot. Consumers don't care about right now. It's a small segment. If you go to Best Buy, they have a small shelf somewhere and they have like 20 products that nobody really buys. And even if Roku sells 2 million devices or something, that's really a small drop in the bucket. But going forward, I think this is going to change. And I think the big force in this space is going to be, and going to surprise many people with this, but the big force is going to be Google, because they're basically replicating what they did in the handset space. They came out with a really bad, really laggy first version of Android. I had the G1 myself. It was very painful. But then they worked with all these different manufacturers who adopted the solution because it was free, because it was open, because it just offered a lot of additional functionality to consumers. And I think the same thing is going to happen in this space for connected TVs as well. Sony is already there. Vizio, Samsung, all these folks are going to jump onto Google TV and gonna show different devices. And 2 years from now, I think they're going to be there, or maybe 3 years from now, they're going to dominate this space.
It's an interesting and surprising prediction. So much of what's happening to TV right now, it seems like it's becoming much more of a lean forward experience, yet don't individuals just want to watch TV and lean back and really veg? How do we rationalize the technology end of what's happening versus what viewers really want?
Well, I think people want to do both. People want to lean back and watch long-form content, and that's expressed by, people do watch all that stuff with their game consoles. They don't want to just watch in front of their computer anymore. They want in the living room, they want the big screen TV, and they want to embrace long form content, professional produced content to a degree. But then they also want to exchange, they want to communicate with their friends and all that stuff that's going on their laps while they're leaning back. So it's almost like they're leaning into all directions at the same time and going a little bit back and forth, leaning side by side. Exactly. There's a lot of stuff going on that traditionally was already, of course, going on with people. You were chatting on your phone while you were watching TV. You were maybe watching with your family and stuff like that. And now we have the iPad and all these other options as well. So it's not just leaning forward and backward, but leaning into every direction. Yeah.
Given everything that's happening with TV right now, and it is moving really, really fast, what is your best advice for TV advertisers and marketers?
I think they should really look at all these devices that people are leaning to. So iPads, computers, mobile phones, because the second screen is becoming really interesting for bringing content, for bringing branded content maybe, for bringing ads, for bringing stuff that's relevant to what's going on television directly to consumers and getting more direct feedback from consumers about it as well, more direct input. The technology for that isn't quite there yet, but it's still something that they should really pay attention to. And then again, also just to get feedback for their media buys right now, they should really pay a lot of attention to social networks, because people are talking about their favorite TV shows, people are talking about ads to a degree, and people are just talking about their media habits a lot more than they used to, and a lot more publicly. So gather that data, talk to people who are doing that for you, and make sense of it, and then use it for your media buys.
I think it's a fun time to be part of the TV experience right now, for sure. I've been talking with Janko Roettgers from NewTeeVee. Social TV, the book, comes out on February 28th, but is available for pre-order at the end of August. For more information, you can go to socialtvbook.tv.